determined, united. They would need to be all of those things to fight and win the war that so many didn't understand had already begun. How long had it been since that glorious night? 1 day? 2? It had been his bad luck that he had run into 2 drunk and edgy redcoats as dawn had been breaking. They knew him. His face, his name, his politics were well known in Boston. He'd done nothing to endear himself to the British militia. Perhaps they had only meant to harass and bully him a bit. Perhaps they hadn't meant to make good their threat to arrest him, on charges they hadn't made clear. But when one had drawn a sword, MacGregor's weapon had all but leaped into his own hand. The fight had been brief, and foolish, he could admit now. He was still unsure if he had killed or only wounded the impetuous soldier, but his comrade had had murder in his eye when he had drawn his weapon. Though MacGregor had been quick to mount and ride, the musket ball had slammed viciously into his shoulder. He could feel it now, throbbing against muscle. Though the rest of his body was mercifully numb, he could feel that small and agonizing pinpoint of heat. Then his mind was numb as well, and he felt nothing. He woke painfully. He was lying in the blanket of snow, face up so that he could see dimly the swirl of white flakes against a heavy grey sky. He'd fallen from his horse. He wasn't close enough to death to escape the embarrassment of it. With effort, he pushed himself to his knees. The mare was waiting patiently beside him, eyeing him with a mild sort of surprise.
"I'll trust you to keep this to yourself, lass."
It was the weak sound of his own voice that brought him the first trace of fear. Gritting his teeth, he reached for the reins and pulled himself shakily to his feet.
"Shelter."
He swayed, grayed out, and knew he could never find the strength to mount. Holding tight, he clucked to the mare and let her pull his weary body along. Step after step, he fought the urge to collapse and let the cold take him. They said there was little pain in freezing to death, like sleep it was, a cold, painless sleep. And how the devil did they know unless they'd lived to tell the tale? He laughed at the thought, but the laugh turned to a cough that weakened him. Time, distance, direction were utterly lost to him. He tried to think of his family, the warmth of them, his parents and brothers and sisters in Scotland. Beloved Scotland, where they fought to keep hope alive. His aunts and uncles and cousins in Virginia, where they worked for the right to a new life in a new land. And he was somewhere between, caught between his love of the old and his fascination with the new. But in either land there was one common enemy. It strengthened him to think of it. The British. Damn them. They had proscribed his name and butchered his people. Now they were reaching their greedy hands across the ocean so that the half-mad English king could impose his bloody laws and collect his bloody taxes. He stumbled, and his hold on the reins nearly broke. For a moment he rested, his head against the mare's neck, his eyes closed. His father's face seemed to float into his mind, his eyes still bright with pride.
"Make a place for yourself,"
he'd told his son.
"Never forget. You're a MacGregor."
No, he wouldn't forget. Wearily, he opened his eyes. He saw through the swirling snow the shape of a building. Cautious, he blinked, rubbed his tired eyes with his free hand. Still the shape remained, grey and indistinct, but real.
"Well, lass."
He leaned heavily against his horse.
"Perhaps this isn't the day to die after all."
Step by step he trudged toward it. It was a barn, a large one, well built of pine logs. His numb fingers fumbled with the latch. His knees threatened to buckle. Then he was inside, with the smell and the blessed heat of animals. It was dark. He moved by instinct to a mound of hay in the stall of a brindled cow. The bovine lady objected with a nervous moo. It was the last sound he heard. Allanna pulled on her woolen cape. The fire in the kitchen hearth burned brightly and smelled faintly, cheerfully, of apple logs. It was a small thing, a normal thing, but it pleased her. She'd